Ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome to the channel. Mantok Productions here. Today we're flying in the Justflight Piper Arrow 3 again in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I jumped online this afternoon and I saw the opportunity of doing a return flight from Santa Barbara to Burbank in Southern California. We have some ATC online this afternoon, so hopefully we should be able to get some nice VFR action into Burbank. Excuse me, and potentially some a small amount of traffic as well. So we're going to do VFR today. I've already filed just a modest VFR flight plan, nothing too crazy, and let's jump into the aircraft and get set up. Okay, let's unpause track IR5, which is what I'm using. Let's just sync my barometric pressure and have a look at what we have. Okay, we have a cold and dark setup, as you can see. I've clicked that already, where I have the tie downs and the chocks engaged. So if I click over to my iPad, I have, let's take off the chocks and the tie downs, and let's begin with a checklist. Okay, so pre-flight interior parking brake is set, gear selector check down, avionics are off, mixture is lean, mags are off, battery switch, let's put the battery switch on, fuel quantity check. We have roughly 50% on both sides, definitely enough to get from here to Burbank and back if needed. So that was the fuel quantity check. Annunciator panel, we need to check that. So we press to test. And I mean, they're all on by default at the moment, so that should be fine. Battery off. Flight controls, free and correct. Full in, full out, full left, full right. Let's just check the rudders as well. Yep, all seem to be in free, normal working order. Elevator trim, we need to set that to neutral, so if we go down there, and it is in the middle, which is neutral. And then we check that the baggage door is closed, which it would be. I have not opened it. It's not openable, but it's good to see that at least that's in the checklist. Okay, pre-flight exterior. We don't have much to do in this stage, actually, because Justflight haven't really modeled any dynamic changes of the external model, but just to check the control surfaces, I should say, and they all look correct from the external. Lights checked. We don't have any lights flashing that shouldn't be. We've removed the tie downs. We've removed the chocks. The tow bar is removed. The engine oil door is closed, which is that up on top. The cabin door is also closed and latched as well. Oil quantity we would check, but we're going to do that as we pop into the inside, and we can see that the iPad says we have 6.1 quarts, and when you hit the refuel button we know that we're full. So okay, so before engine start checklist, we need to double check that these circuit breakers are all in, which they are on visual inspection. Alternate air is off, which it is, it's closed. Prop lever is max RPM. Fuel selector on the fullest tank. So both tanks we know were roughly equal, so we're going to go left tank, and we're just going to confirm that our drain has the auto fuel selector turned on, which means it will automatically alternate the tanks as we go. So, engine start checklist. Let's go with the cold engine start. Throttle opened 1/2 inch, which is roughly there. Yeah, about 20 to 30%. Battery switch on. Alternator on. Beacon on. Rotating beacon. So, external check. Yep, up at the back we can see that rotating beacon flashing. Nav lights on. That one there, anti-collision. Aux boost pump on. Fuel pump. Mixture, rich until flow peaks, then cut off. So we want to watch our fuel flow, which is here. I think that looked like it went up to about 5 or 6. It was a bit weird though. Propeller, we shout clear out the window. Let's actually open the window so that we get some propeller noise. So what we do is we go ignition start, which is down here, and then rich when engine starts. So what we need to do is we need to turn on to both start. As the propeller starts to kick round and you hear the engine cough and begin, that's when we introduce. Okay guys, sorry about that, just had a phone call. So yeah, let's get this engine started. Okay, so nothing's changed since I was here earlier on. Let's just go engine start. And on with the mixture. Okay, so let's check our T's and P's. Let's bring the RPM down below 1500 and let's lean for ground operations. T's and P's, fuel pressure is good. Oil pressure is in the green, in the middle of the green, which is good. Amps look okay. Oil temperature will slowly start to rise. Fuel pressure is in the green. Manifold and fuel flow are as expected. So we're good. That was good. So now that we have our engine on, let's close up our window so that we can actually hear ourselves. And let's go and tune our ATC. ATC is LAX Center, which is Los Angeles Center 125.8, sorry. So let's go on with the avionics. Well, let's go taxiing. Let's go landing light as required. So let's put that on. Avionics. So with avionics, we basically just turn like so. That's the avionics. Radios, let's set the radios. So what we said was 125.8. So it's 125.8.
Charlie, American spot.
And then we can hear
Red Nose 141 LA Center radar contact 100 miles south.
transponder is set. Altimeter is checked.
Red Nose 141.
We're ground elevation.
We're trying to get the ATIS, but it seems to not be working. Could you try recycling it or turning it off and then back on?
The Los Angeles ATIS?
Let's
yes.
just turn that down slightly.
Okay.
Altimeters we checked. Heading indicator, let's set. I'm expecting a takeoff on runway. Let me see.
Okay, cool. It works now. Red Nose 141. Thank you.
Sorry, if you send that PVC again, it got deleted.
Okay, I could do a takeoff.
Hey LA, good
runway 15.
1128, just realized A-Cars does not have the Knights 1. Can I switch to the Cowboy departure?
Delta 1981, turn left, heading 220, turn runway 2 for right localizer.
Was that left turn for 220 for Delta 1991?
Oh, that's loud. That's loud.
1 affirmative, left 220, turn runway 2 for right localizer.
Okay.
Roger, left 220, join the localizer for Delta 1991.
Southwest 569 LA Center weather contact altitude indicates 2,300, climb maintain flight level 350.
Up 350, Southwest 569.
And Delta 1981, descend and maintain 3,000.
Descend and maintain 3,000, Delta 1991.
Okay, I'm going to taxi
Sorry, what will our
by my own discretion.
was the departure runway for Las Vegas?
Okay, so I'm going to taxi on discretion and then call him at the hold ready for takeoff. So, or maybe I could even take off and, I mean, it's pretty deserted here, so. Okay, just so that we have a bit of peace and quiet for a moment. So, heading indicator was set. Taxi area is clear. Parking brake release. And then we test brakes on initial roll, which we have. Do a ground check, so let's get prepared and ready for that. Let's just bring that throttle down slightly more so that we're not going a bit crazy. Put in a notch of flaps in preparation. And let's take a left-hand turn, a right-hand turn here. And let's taxi up to the departure area of runway 15. Doing a bit of a look left and right, just in case, because this is VATSIM, although no one is around. So we have wind is roughly 7 knots from about 207. Excuse me while I drink some tea. So come across again. Don't want to get too fast on that taxi roll here. Okay, so here is the end of runway 15. There's 15 left. So let's just hold short of the threshold here and do a quick mag check. So let's just keep her there. Parking brake on. Okay, parking brake set. Mixture is rich. Prop is at max RPM. Throttle set to 2000. So let's bring up the throttle to. I need to invest in a new throttle quadrant here, as you can easily see. So 2000 set and holding. Mags. Let's 150 RPM max decrease. So let's go through our mags. Let's go to the left mag first and watching our RPM. Yeah, less than 150. Back to both. And now let's go to the right. And again, less than 150 degrees, 150 RPM drop. Back to both. Vacuum gauge check. So vacuum is the gyro suction, I believe. That is that? No, that's not. The vac. Where is my vac? EGT. No, that is my vac. I'm pretty sure that is my vacuum suction. Is okay. Let's actually click. Does that give me a little? No, it doesn't. Okay. Oil pressure and temperature check. Pressure is still in the green. Oil temperature is holding in the green. Fuel pressure is still good. Annunciators test. Yep, all 3 light and all 3 extinguish. Propeller exercise, then full forward. Let's go all the way down to 0. It's holding above 1000 RPM and comes back up. Alternate air is off. Fuel pressure checked in the green. Engine idle. And we need to watch for 6 to 650 RPM. Which it does. And then throttle adjust for 1200. Okay. Let's just lean for ground operations as well. We don't want to foul those plugs. Okay, so that is that. Before takeoff checklist. Battery. Why do we need to go through this again? Battery on, alternator on, strobe lights are on. Landing light is on. Aux boost pump on. Fuel selector, fullest tank. Engine gauge is checked. We have checked. Mixture is now rich. Prop is max. Flaps are set and checked. Trims are set. Cabin door closed and latched. Takeoff. Okay, so now let's call center.
Allegiant 71, wind verbal at 6, runway 26 left to clear to land, and Montreal Uniform 178, have a good day, see you.
Little land, runway 26 left over to Yukon, Legion 71, see you, take care.
United 35, frequency change approved advisory, have a good day, see you.
Copy, frequency change approved, advisory United 35, thanks for your help today.
Red Nose 141, frequency change approved advisory, have a good day, see you.
Unicom 2D.8, thank you, Red Nose 141.
LAX Center, good afternoon. November 751 Lima uniform on the ground at Burbank, at Santa Barbara, requesting VFR departure to Burbank.
French Flight 2074, contact Albuquerque Center 127.85, have a good day, see you.
A November Lima uniform over to 125.85, thanks.
No, November 751 Lima uniform, that was not for you.
Oh, sorry.
You can monitor uniform 122.8 because I am closed shortly.
A-firm, sorry.
Status 4521 frequency.
Okay, 122.8, and in the rush of that, I thought he said me and he didn't, but there we go. So I'm good to cross. I'm confident there's no one else in the area. I've visually checked. We're all good to go. Takeoff checklist, park brake released, throttle full. Let us do that once we turn on to the approach. Okay. Throttle full. Rudder maintain axis. Check that the airspeed is working, which it is, airspeed alive. And then rotate at 65. Let's just maintain center line with our rudder, and there, whoa, there is the bug, and there is 65, and we are off. That's quite some bug, that is. Okay, so above 300 feet, flaps going up. Accelerate, let's accelerate through 100 knots, and while doing so, let's pull the power and the propeller back to just below 7,500, or 75%. And then climb out airspeed of roughly 90. Right, accelerate to 104. Let's just do a left-hand turn now as we depart the Santa Barbara area. So he gave us pretty much Unicom as he was closing very soon. So that gives us permission to fly at our own discretion. So I'm just going to turn and just track the coast for the moment while we get our bearings. So the nav aid we're going to be using today is the Fillmore VOR, which is 112.5. So let's go and set 112.5, and hopefully, all being well, yep, we should see an inbound track. The inbound track is 083. So let's set 083. That is 083 set, and we can see we are to the right of the track. So let's prepare to climb up over these mountains here, this range, as we get on this radial. We are flying VFR today, so having said that, let's go to altitude reporting, and let's head roughly. Oh, we're actually heading. Yeah, we need to actually turn on course. I let the aircraft bank left there a little bit too far. So, in the climb checklist, accelerate above 104, aux boost pump goes off, landing lights as required, let's turn those off now. Elevated trim is set and mixture lean above 3,000 feet. So then we go to the cruise checklist. So we'll leave that there for the moment. We're going to climb up to 5,000 feet today, and we are heading about 052 to be able to track this radial inbound to Fillmore via VOR. So, yeah, that seemed to me like a moderately successful departure. I'm getting a bit of a left-hand bank here with my controls set neutrally, so I'm just monitoring the slip and ball indicator here and putting in some right rudder to try to counteract this. But I'm not quite sure why that is. My fuel... okay, well, my fuel is... there's a little bit more fuel on the left side than the right, so that might be contributing to it. I'm not sure. Right, so I'm pretty happy with that. Let's turn 08. Let's turn 08. And to get above... I'm actually going to get above this cloud layer, and I'm going to climb. I don't want to be below the cloud layer because I'll hit the mountains, so I really do need to increase my altitude here. So I'm going to expedite my climb and not go below 80 knots in the climb here. Let's just continue that turn on to about 085. And that's about 085 set. So, of course, the one thing, guys, that I'm really excited about, that some news dropped in the Microsoft Flight Simulator community just yesterday, I believe it was, that PMDG are bringing their DC-6 to MSFS quite soon now, in a matter of weeks. And this is something that I am waiting for so much, because having a PMDG aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator is basically the benchmark of payware aircraft and ability. Of course, this Justflight Arrow has been great. I do enjoy this for general simming over the default aircraft, but as a vintage airliner, you know, I'm very, very happy to have the DC-6 in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I will be flying it a lot. I can definitely say that. So expect some serious DC-6 content on my channel for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Once that drops, I will pick that up straight away and begin flying it, and begin making tutorials on how to fly that aircraft on VATSIM, because it's one thing to fly an aircraft competently, but it's another thing entirely to fly it and maintain a VATSIM course, a navigation, and to fit in and out and around other virtual air traffic in the real world. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm hoping to do that in and out of busy IFR airports, guys. This is not a beast that you just can simply take into small airfields in a VFR situation. You can take it into relatively small airfields, but you know, it's a beast that in the 1950s used to be one of the kings of commercial aviation. So really looking forward to seeing that in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yeah. So we've just passed actually 5,000 feet. So actually I'm going to level out at 5,500. As I believe 5,500 in the US is the VFR cruising is done at the 500 feet, and IFRs are done at thousands. So let's turn on the autopilot for just some peace of mind as we just get set up for our arrival. Bring the power back and get set up for 5,500 feet, and hopefully by the time I get to Burbank, the Burbank ATC should still be there, because I have a visual approach that I'd like to do, and we need to prep for that, because if there's cloud there, if there's too much cloud, we might then have to switch to an IFR ILS approach instead. So I have seen on VATSIM there's a fair amount of traffic coming into Burbank. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out. So let's just get down to 5,500 feet and then get settled into the cruise. Loving the valleys and the mountain clouds around them. Okay, just descending here. Okay, let's just lean out to about 65 to 70% on the mixture. And just easing it down to 5,500 feet. And then let's press that handy altitude hold button, which is a bit of a cheat in this aircraft, but we're going to use it today anyway. There we go. So, right, we are set. Now let's have a look at our chart here. So this is a visual approach into Burbank, and you can see now why I decided to come down to the Fillmore VOR. From the Fillmore VOR, we head outbound on 080, and we first want to go to the OAT mountain, or Oat Mountain, recommended 5,000 feet because it's 3,741. So we have at least 1,000 feet of clearance, of course. And then as we go along, we want to descend gradually to 3,000 feet, past the San Gabriel Mountains there, for a right-hand turn onto the approach for Burbank. And we have the 4 stacks, which is 4 chimneys, and hopefully we should be able to see. When visual approaches to runway 15 are in progress, clearances will be given to aircraft from the northwest through northeast, utilizing the following phraseology. Cleared for 4 stacks visual approach runway 15. The weather needs to be minimum ceiling 5,500, visibility no less than 5 nautical miles. So yeah, airport elevation 778 feet. No missed approach published, but there we go. We'll see how this works. We will request it. But like I say, if I'm looking ahead of me and I'm seeing a bit more cloud than is helpful, then we might have to scratch that and go with something else. So you can see me here on VATSIM inbound. Somehow, for some reason, I have no pilot rating, but maybe that's because that was reset recently on VATSIM. So let's just right-click and look at the ATIS. Bring that across. So, information Bravo, QNH. Oh, there is no altimeter here, right there. 3009er is the altimeter. So let's write this in. Let's go information Bravo. Alt is 3009er. ILS runway 8 approach in use. Vectors missed approach and departure runway 8 and runway 15. LASSO in effect for non-turbojet aircraft. I'm not sure what LASSO means. Landing runway 15. Available landing distance 4,250 feet. Read back all runway hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information Bravo. Advise you have information Bravo. Okay, cool. So that's helpful. As you can see, we have a couple of inbound aircraft here. We've got an A320. We have a Cessna 25C and an outbound there as well. And I am of course an inbound. So first person we'll be talking to is Burbank or Glendale Pasadena approach. I'll just call them Burbank approach 128.75, which is 128.75. Let's just write that down. Helpful to have that written down. Yeah, so that's fun. Let's just look. I've drifted off my course. Let's just bring that back on. Let's come into that radial. I I don't want to... Beautiful scenery as always. I can't wait for a 4-engined heavy vintage commercial airliner of the 1950s in this simulator. The sound of the 4 radials, you know, the lumbering nature of the DC-6 in a sim environment like this, with the polished graphics, the environments, the atmospheric graphics, the clouds, everything, the lighting, the metalwork, everything is going to be great. Really looking forward to it. We'll be doing a lot of flying with that. It's really what hardcore simmers have been looking for. The DC-6, you know, some people with their Garmins and their glass cockpits, they don't really, you know, the DC-6. You mean the amount of gauges on that thing? It really does give them cause for concern, but it genuinely is such a pleasure to actually fly this. I mean, look at this, beautiful. There's a lot of video tutorials they've already done on this, so I would highly recommend you go and check them out. Look at all of those gauges. That is definitely a steam gauge lover's best, you know, the steam gauge lover's birthday, basically. Look at that. And I've flown this aircraft in P3D for a number of years now, so I am familiar enough with it that I believe I can pick it up and take it out for a flight without too much trouble, even though it's in a new simulator. So. Okay, so fairly soon I'm going to start thinking about contacting Burbank Approach. Actually, I might do that now. 128.75. Okay, so 128.75. Forget Golf Lima India Foxtrot Romeo in the cockpit here. That is that's due to my settings. I need to change that. So okay, so what I want to say. Okay, Burbank Approach, November 751 Lima uniform. Burbank Approach, good afternoon, November 751 Lima uniform.
Burbank Approach just signed off.
Ah, he just signed off? Okay. Okay, so we'll run this. It's just my luck, isn't it? It really is. So what we'll go back to 122.85 or 80, sorry. And we'll just do calls on Unicom because I don't want to you know, miss this. It's we're already halfway through. So anyway, let's just go off our cruise checklist here. So the power is set between 21 and 2700 RPM, which it is. Propeller RPM is as required. We have leaned for altitude. Elevator trim is set. Engine gauges, let's double check them again. Now we're in cruise. Oil pressure is set, okay. Oil temperature is okay. Amps still okay. Fuel looks good, and fuel pressure looks okay. Manifold pressure looks to be as expected, and fuel flow as well. Fuel tank selector, switch tanks periodically. We can see we set it originally on the left, now it's on the right. So that little gizmo on the sat nav is doing what it should. Next will be the descent checklist, which we will learn about later, or we'll look at later. And you can see the Garmin GPS 100, which is a very early version of the Garmin, is actually tracking our position. 23rd of May 2021, 7:52 local. Actually, that's Zulu. Sorry. at 7:52 p.m. Zulu, or UTC. Sorry, it's UTC, obviously. So we can see, I believe that is tracking the KSZ Papa. Is why is that tracking an airfield that's 108 nautical miles away? I'm not sure. But there is a manual about this that I began reading when this aircraft first was in the works, and I read the manual. It was really interesting. I will have to read that manual again. Actually, I'm happy to produce a tutorial on this specific autopilot, if that's what you guys want. If you guys are interested in that, please leave a little message in the comment section below, saying as such, and I will get on that. Let's turn right now that we're on the radial. Okay, so it looks like that mountain range is the one we're talking about is potentially ahead of us there. Let's just double check that chart. Yeah, so we're coming along that mountain range, and then as we cross over it, we then take a look and we turn right hand onto visual approach 15, and we check for the 4 stacks in between Whitman and Burbank. I've flown out of Whitman before in real life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause I'm going to skip ahead in the video from now until the time that we just cross over the VOR. So I will see you guys in a bit. Hello ladies and gents, we've just passed over the Fillmore VOR, so let's turn now heading 080. 080 set. And so let's start thinking about our approach. So, if I hit this button, no, yeah, it is working. Okay, so you can actually see our position on the map. We've just passed over the Fillmore VOR and we're heading towards our turn. Cessna citation final runway 8, he said. Let's just, yep, that would be the Cessna citation 8 coming into Burbank. And he should be down there off our 2 o'clock, roughly. So you can see the ridge that we have in the distance that we should pass over. So let's do a call on Unicom. Burbank Airport, November 751 Lima uniform, just past Fillmore VOR, inbound on the visual approach runway 15, currently 5,500 feet. Let's just get the name of that.
Burbank traffic, citation about 3 mile final.
Okay, yeah, he's just 3 mile final. And this is the 4 stacks approach. Okay, so we've got a little ways to go before our turn. We have those San Gabriel Mountains off our left-hand side at 4,000 feet, roughly 1,500 feet below our current altitude. We'll descend 500 feet now, actually. So let's do that. Let's bring up our descent checklist first. Descent as desired, lean for altitude, elevator trim set, altimeters set, checked. So altimeters should be 3009er, and they're set at, oh, it's now millibars. Okay. Well, I'll tap the key to set the automatic. and we'll begin our descent. And then we'll go to our approach checklist. Coming up to 5,000 feet. Oh, little bit of a turbulence there. Yeah, so that glitch on takeoff, that kind of nose swerving violently on takeoff, is a bug that I've heard about. One of my viewers alerted me to the fact that it was actually a bug. It wasn't the weather engine per se. And so I'm not sure quite how that's going to handle with the DC-6. How that's going to affect the DC-6 when that approaches. So hopefully they can patch that out fairly soon. That's what I'm hoping. Okay, so that Cessna citation I heard is I believe off the runway. So. Yeah, we've actually got very good visibility for our visual approach, and the visual approach, we'll head up in this direction, and those mountains on our left-hand side will be the 4,000 that will turn right-hand onto the visual approach. So okay. So again, I think I might actually just pause. I'll stop speaking, and I will just fast forward the visuals until we get to a more favorable area to continue the recording. Okay, so we are back, and you can see the ridge on the left, just to the left-hand side, 1,000 feet below, and we're going to get ready for that right-hand turn at the end of that ridge. And if you can see, just off in the distance is the visual for runway 15. So let's make another call. Burbank traffic, November 751 Lima uniform on the 4 stacks approach to runway 15 visual. Getting ready for our final turn onto extended centerline. Yeah, that wasn't the smartest call of all, but there we go. And I believe I've been through. Oh my goodness. Hello? Really? Really? What? Okay. Right. Are we done now? We're done. Okay, cool. So, I believe I've been through this canyon. As it's the one on the way... No, it's the one behind me, actually. It's that canyon there that I've been through. Cool. Okay, we are ready for our turn. Let's pull off the autopilot. And just throw the instruments around a little bit there. And let's make our left-hand turn. Yep, there's actually the runway there. It's funny, I can just see it through that edge of the clouds. So let's make a turn. And now actually a wind has become side wind. So we're going to have, it looks like roughly a 9 knot side wind at this point. So let's bring the throttle down and let's begin our approach. Landing light. Landing light on. Fuel selector, fullest tank. Aux boost pump on. Mixture is rich. Prop. Max RPM. Like so. Parking brake is released. Gear is down. Parking brake is released. Gear is not down yet, so let's wait for that. We're just coming through these cloud layers. And as we come through the cloud layers, we will just visually acquire the runway. Well, we are VFR technically, and this is not good, so we need to be able to visually acquire the runway through this, or else divert, because this is a visual approach, so we need to descend through this. Burbank traffic, November 751 Lima uniform on the visual approach runway 15. Let's just try to yep, there's the runway. Okay, so let's try not to die. Yep, there's the runway, I see it. Okay, so let's get the speed under 100 knots. Okay, there's 100 knots. Let's go gear down. And that's going to help us with deceleration. And now let's go flaps 1. Flaps 2. Actually, now we've got a left-hand crosswind. That's crazy. Okay, so with that, we've got 75 knots indicated, which is trim for 75, which is good. We're just on the speed, and then touchdown main wheel gear first. And look at that, coming through coming underneath that cloud bank, we've got a bright sunny patch on Burbank right now. So we just skimmed through. And there is Van Nuys Airport just off my right-hand side, which is where my brother works as a bizjet pilot. He flies the Falcon 50, and he also flies the Citation 550, I believe. Okay, so flaps are down. Let's do a landing checklist. Flaps are down. 3 greens. Gear is down as well. Lights as required. Mixture and prop are all rich and full. And we've got some weird... Yeah, it's turned into an 8 knot headwind, which is fine. We're getting some weird twitches here in the flight dynamics. But we all look set for a nice looking touchdown. Let's just flare correctly. And out with the propeller, and and a flare and a touchdown. Okay, I didn't flare quite as much as I wanted, but I mean, I'm used to over flaring in my aircraft actually, so that maybe wasn't too bad. Okay, so let's just clean up the aircraft and vacate next right. Burbank traffic, November 751 Lima uniform, vacating runway 15. Okay, so after landing checklist, flaps are up, landing light letters set as required. Strobe, let's go off. And aux boost pump goes off as we cross the line here, and elevator trim reset to neutral, which it is pretty much. Turn left onto this taxiway here. Let's just go park over by the oh yeah, let's go park over by the really nice terminal that I saw a long time ago and I said I really liked the look of. So it looks pretty cute. So let's go see what that looks like. There's a nice little Piper Archer or Piper Arrow maybe. Millionaire Aviation. All right. Interesting looking airliners over there. That's all static aircraft, of course. Okay, so parking brake on. And let's turn off our ignition and our batteries. Let's turn off our rotating beacon.
Los Angeles traffic, American 3291, taxi.
There we go. So, ladies and gents, thank you very much for joining me. Sorry that as I was flying, all of the ATC just gradually turned off in front of me, which was quite frustrating. It's not the first time it's happened on my channel, but there we go. Hopefully next time it won't be quite such like that. I do plan to do some more video making soon and get back into a regular rhythm. Unfortunately, my video making rhythm has been thrown somewhat recently, but yeah, nice to do this return flight from Santa Barbara to Burbank, and really, like I say, really looking forward to that DC-6 from PMDG anytime soon. With the second that it drops, you will know, because I will be instantly taking it on VATSIM and doing some regional American airline hops with it. It's going to be the first time that we get a serious study level payware quality sim aircraft add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So you can be assured that I will be flying that vintage beast in and out of regional US and EU destinations. So yeah, thanks very much again for watching, guys, and I will catch you next time.